Hi guys, so today I'm coming to you with a list of things that I predict that we either may get or probably should have for Star Wars Armada, but not specific ships. I've done my top 10 ships I think we're going to see in Armada. I've done 2 of those lists already, and I've had actually pretty good predictions. So this time, since I still have a lot of ships that I've predicted that I still think are coming, and a lot of the waves have gotten smaller for Armada, I think there's plenty of room for some of my predictions to still come true. So I don't think we needed to do another top 10 list of ships. Instead, this is just a list of mechanics or things that I think need to arrive in Armada that aren't specific ship types. I also want to remind you guys there is another round of the giveaway going on right now. You can win an expansion of your choice in the form of a Cool Stuff gift card for $20. And that's real simple. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that, and you're automatically entered to win. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I think Armada should have, or maybe hopefully will have, is a counter, or rather a better counter for relay. Now, relay could be something that's coming in the form of an FAQ. Maybe they're going to errata relay and change it a little bit. A lot of people, and myself included, are on board with the idea of relay merely extending the command of a squadron to the relay squadron through them, rather than have it be anywhere on the board. So rather, if you can naturally reach the relay squadron, then you can naturally reach a little bit beyond the relay squadron. But rather than the relay squadron can be anywhere, and then you're just doing it that way. So a lot of people are kind of in favor of just using relay as a slight extender rather than a full-blown anywhere you want. So that's one way. Or another way would just be maybe more counters for relay. The Rebellion currently doesn't really have it. Gar Saxon can hurt relay a little bit, but and it may come in a different form. It may come in the form of strategic. Since most of the ships that people use that have relay also have strategic, you could potentially counter strategic, which would also potentially be a counter for relay. And that could just be, as another squadron that does damage to extra damage to squadrons with strategic. Next thing I have is more medium ships. The Empire is actually doing all right with medium ships, but there's not an abundance of medium ships. And this is kind of just a limitation on the universe itself. The Rebellion's really suffering because they just have the Assault Frigate Mark II, and that's it. There are other medium ships that they can potentially do. I think there's a wealth of new ships that have arrived in the sequel trilogy, although I don't expect sequel trilogy stuff anytime soon. But for the reason I'm asking for more medium ships is because we don't really have much for the mechanics that are being offered through medium ships. The Rebels really only have one, and it doesn't do all the things. It doesn't have the variety that that the Empire has. Next up is the Rebels need, and this could be in the form of the same thing, the Rebels don't have any ships really that can use an ion cannon upgrade and also disposable capacitors. And the reason that this is a really nice thing is because disposable capacitors, being the offensive retrofit, is limited to to medium and small ships only. So one of the things that we've seen a lot of is the heavy ions from Wave 7 comboing with disposable capacitors, allowing you to roll blue dice and trigger that crit at long range. Now, the Rebels can potentially do that with Sato, but usually Sato's used for black dice and not for blue, and so it becomes a little bit of a trade-off. So it would be nice to see, if the Rebels do get another medium ship, for it to have the ability to take disposable capacitors via an offensive retrofit, and also the ion cannon upgrade, because the Assault Frigate right now does not have an ion cannon upgrade. Next thing I think we're going to need to get is upgrades that increase anti-squadron armament. We've seen plenty of things that let you add a die, but not the armament itself. So anybody who's obstructed, if an attack is going to be obstructed, or if something is making you reduce 1 die, then that really makes it hard. And so sometimes you can't even add that die, because if the attack is obstructed, you lose your die to begin with. And unless you're a ship that has 2 dice, or if you're a black and a blue and they're at medium range, you can't roll that black, so you only have 1, and that's obstructed. So maybe some kind of modification that increases your anti-squadron die, or anti-squadron armament. So this way you can potentially have a ship that's rolling up to 3. Now this would probably have to be very expensive, because it could be a mechanic that gets abused heavily. It may have to be a unique upgrade, or it may have to be just a very expensive offensive retrofit. Another thing is we haven't seen anything that is a standard upgrade that ships can take that can increase your maximum shield potential. We did see a title that can do that, but we haven't seen like a defensive retrofit that increases maybe, you know, your left and right hull zone values by 1 would be really nice. I can imagine something like that could be a modification. I don't really see that as being too, you know, catastrophic for the game mechanics either. So something like that, I'm just surprised we haven't seen it yet. So that's one. Another thing would also be, another mechanic I think we could see in the future is double ion cannons. We haven't seen any ships with a double ion cannon yet, and we're starting to see ships with doubles of a lot of different slots. We've seen double officer through the Phoenix Home, we've seen double turbo laser, we've even seen double ordnance. We haven't seen a double ion cannon yet, so that would be interesting to see. Another mechanic we haven't seen yet in Armada is something that is going to allow a ship to make more than 2 primary attacks. Now, we have seen things that affect the way ships attack, whether it's an objective that allows you to attack twice out of the same thing, like with advanced gunnery. We've seen gunnery teams that allow a ship to attack 2 times from the same arc. We've also seen the Demolisher title that allows you to attack once after you move, but we haven't seen anything that gives you potentially 3 attacks. I imagine, for balance sakes, it would have to be at, you know, 1, 2, 3 different targets, but that would be really interesting. There are some slight ones that let you do an extra anti-squadron attack, but that's not the same. Another thing is new flotilla types. Not just small base flotillas, but maybe a medium or even large base flotillas. Perhaps a flotilla of kind of small ships. That would be another cool mechanic. Another one is more uses for tokens. I haven't seen, you know, enough token love to really make me want to take Tarkin quite just yet. I mean, we're getting there though. We are very much getting there, but little by little, I think we could use maybe one more boost to the power of tokens. Another thing that I think is, you know, I've been campaigning for a long time is huge ships. So dreadnoughts, super star destroyers, epic ships, maybe an epic format to Star Wars Armada. But if you followed me for a while, you know that I've been pushing for bigger and badder ships. Definitely want that. And the last thing I think is, and this is also kind of experimental, is stationary ships or stationary miniatures. Maybe space stations that you can deploy, maybe buoys, maybe something that just doesn't move, that isn't as strong. You know, look at like the armed station type of objective. Imagine something like that you can actually deploy in place of a ship. I think something like that could be fun, could be cool. I'd love to see FFG actually sculpt a space station, so I'd love to buy something like that. But I'd like to hear what do you guys think that we could get in Armada without naming a specific ship type? Let me know in the comments below, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.